They are sealed with lead, guarded by Swiss mercenaries, and off-limits to almost every soul on earth. Deep within the Vatican lies a library so secret, even popes don't read everything inside it. Over 50 miles of shelves, hidden scrolls, suppressed books, letters from emperors, kings, and heretics. This isn't a library. It's a vault, a memory hole, a place where inconvenient truths go to sleep. But what happens when we ask, why are they hiding it? What's inside? And who decides what we're allowed to know?
John Paul II broke Vatican traditions. He was the first non-Italian pope for nearly 500 years and the first ever from Poland. He quickly showed he was a man of the people, winning adulation from millions on visits to Mexico and to his native Poland. But though he championed human rights, he took a conservative line on the Church's traditional teachings.
Welcome to Facts on Trial. Today we unlock the doors of the Vatican's secret archives and step into 2,000 years of silence. Why did the Catholic Church, the most powerful institution in medieval Europe, need a secret archive? And why do they still keep it closed? It started with control, not just of people, but of ideas. In 1612, Pope Paul V formally sealed the Vatican's archive. Only the Church could decide which stories deserved to be told and which would be buried. The archive contains papal bulls, inquisitor notes, letters from Galileo, and possibly even books from the ancient Library of Alexandria. The Church calls it classified history, but many call it censorship. Before the invention of the printing press, the Church monopolized the written word. Monks transcribed texts by hand. They chose which gospels, letters, and teachings were worthy of preservation, and which were burned as heresy. This editorial authority was divine gatekeeping. As the Reformation swept across Europe, the Vatican tightened its grip. Protestant critiques threatened centuries of dogma, and the Church's response was swift: suppress, silence, and store away anything that contradicted official doctrine. The secret archives became a bunker for controversial knowledge. Rumors persist of hidden gospels, texts that contradict the official Bible canon. The Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Judas, ancient writings that portray Jesus not as divine, but as revolutionary, human. Why would the Church suppress these texts? What's at stake when truth no longer serves doctrine? Some say the Vatican has hidden scrolls from the Essenes, mystical Jewish sects whose teachings parallel those of Christ. Others whisper of books written by early Christians who believed in reincarnation, divine feminine energy, or spiritual democracy. The Gospel of Thomas, for instance, portrays Jesus as a spiritual teacher who emphasized self-knowledge over hierarchy. The Gospel of Philip questions the sanctity of institutional marriage and hints at a relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene. All of it locked away out of sight, out of history. Even in modern times, scholars requesting access to such texts are often stonewalled. Only a few select researchers are granted permission, and even then, only to certain documents. Photography is prohibited. Notes are restricted. Translation is heavily monitored. If the Church truly believed these writings were harmless relics of the past, why treat them as state secrets? The Vatican isn't just a religion. It's a state, a diplomatic empire with embassies, banks, and its own intelligence network. Within the archives are treaties signed with Fascist Italy, Nazi Germany, and secret negotiations with the CIA during the Cold War. There are files on heretics, revolutionaries, and scientists condemned for challenging Church authority. Even the 1493 papal bull dividing the New World between Spain and Portugal, justified colonization with a stroke of ink, is in those vaults. The Vatican's political reach has always extended far beyond the pulpit. Documents from the Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, and the Catholic missions in the Americas reveal the Church's role in conquest, assimilation, and colonization. Some suspect the Vatican possesses early maps of the Americas, drawn before Columbus's voyage. Others claim documents exist proving that certain saints and martyrs were political operatives, not merely spiritual figures. In 2020, an independent commission investigating the Church's complicity in 20th-century authoritarian regimes uncovered Vatican correspondence with leaders in Francois Spain and Vichy France, documents which remain restricted to public view. These show the Church's willingness to align with oppressive powers to preserve influence. Evidence also suggests the Vatican played a role in rat lines after World War II, helping Nazi war criminals escape Europe through clandestine routes to South America. Names like Adolf Eichmann and Josef Mengele have surfaced in connection with post-war Catholic aid networks. Files in the archives are also said to include surveillance on liberation theologians in Latin America, those who challenged church hierarchy in favor of social justice. Some of these priests were murdered. Others disappeared. What happens when theology meets geopolitics? The answer is always the same: suppression. Does the Vatican know more about the universe than it lets on? The Church operates one of the most advanced astronomical observatories in the world, the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope. Why does a religious institution track distant galaxies and cosmic radiation? Some suspect the Vatican possesses ancient star maps. Others believe they know of pre-Christian civilizations that understood time, space, and the divine in ways the modern world can't comprehend. And then there's the Chronovisor, a device said to have been built by Vatican scientists in the 1950s, a machine that could see into the past. The claim? It showed the crucifixion of Christ. The Vatican denies it ever existed. But the priest who leaked it? Silenced. The blueprints? Missing. There are also whispers of suppressed discoveries, fossil records that challenge the biblical timeline, early heliocentric models buried before Copernicus, and lost works of Aristotle and Plato with radically different worldviews. Science and faith, when properly aligned, could illuminate each other. But when dogma is threatened, science disappears. Every institution fears one thing: exposure. The Vatican has long protected its mysteries through time, tradition, and terror. From the Inquisition to the Index Librorum Prohibitorum, the list of banned books, the Church has erased countless voices from the historical record. So what happens when those voices come back? What if the missing Gospels emerged? What if suppressed histories were revealed? What if the world discovered that much of what we think we know was carefully edited? This is not just about religion. It's about power, and who gets to write the past. In recent years, public interest in the secret archives has surged. Filmmakers, journalists, and independent researchers have pushed back against the wall of secrecy, demanding accountability and access. But the gates remain shut. Only a pope can change the rules. In 2019, Pope Francis made a limited gesture by opening some files from the Pius XII era, a controversial pope accused of silence during the Holocaust. While it was a step forward, it barely scratched the surface of what remains sealed. Many suspect that buried in the archives are documents confirming the Church's knowledge of widespread abuse, centuries-old cover-ups, and the roles clergy played in colonial atrocities. These aren't just spiritual or theological concerns. They are crimes. Theologians who challenge orthodoxy risk excommunication. Historians who dig too deep are denied access. Whistleblowers are discredited, and in some cases silenced. The price of revelation is not just professional. It can be personal, spiritual, even existential. And yet the questions remain. Who decides what truths humanity deserves to know? And what happens when that truth is too dangerous to be read? The Vatican's secret archives may never be fully opened, but the questions remain. What are they hiding? Whose stories were erased? And why does the truth threaten them so much? This is Facts on Trial, bringing you answers to questions you've never asked, to help you understand the world better.
Anche lo sfruttamento del lavoro in nero. Che tu lavori, ti do senza contratto, senza niente. E ti pago quello che io voglio. Questo è sfruttamento delle persone. Senza l'apporto della pensione, senza l'apporto per la salute, a me non interessa. Io ti capisco bene, fratello, ti capisco bene. E ti ringrazio per dire questo che hai detto. E qui penso all'intervento del Presidente della Corte di Appello. Lui ha usato una bella espressione, percorso di speranza. E ricordava un motto di San Giovanni Bosco: buoni cristiani e onesti cittadini, rivolto ai bambini e ai ragazzi. Dobbiamo lottare con questo, dobbiamo difendere la nostra dignità di cittadini, di uomini, di donne, di giovani, E questo è il dramma del nostro tempo. Non dobbiamo rimanere zitti. E anche il lavoro a metà. Cosa voglio dire questo? Lo sfruttamento delle persone nel lavoro.